Not to deviate too much from the Fever, but how was guarding DT?
I have this one moment. So when I came into the WNBA, I was very fortunate to have the ultimate cheat sheet, meaning my big sis, Nneka. I'm going up against Diana Taurasi. Nneka was like, hey, Diana, when you go into the screen, she's gonna probably punch you. And I said, what? I'm sweating bullets. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh gosh, it's Diana. I gotta set a screen. So I said, you know what? She's gonna punch me, so I'm just gonna hit her harder than she hit me. So I go and I set the screen and she tries to punch me and I just hit her back. And she like stumbles and like eyes, laser darts.
Wow.
I was like, oh no, she's coming for me. Cause I hit her. Welcome to Chiney Today, and there's so much happening in the WNBA. But did you know that there is one team that just broke the record for most games with 95 or more points in WNBA history? 18 total games overall. Can you guess that squad? And it's so close to ring season. So what does your favorite team need to do to win a championship this year? Find out here on Chiney Today, the heartbeat of hoops. Let's go to work. It's time for the breakdown, where we talk about the most important stories that you need to know in hoops. There are only 10 or so games remaining for the rest of this WNBA regular season. And so the biggest question is, for your favorite team, what will it take for them to win a championship? I will tell you. Let's start with the Minnesota Lynx. Here we go. Ooh. The Minnesota Lynx will win a WNBA championship if they keep doing what they're doing. Because right now, they are operating at a very, very high level. They have the best record in the league. They will likely have home court advantage throughout the entire playoffs, which is very important. They need every advantage that they can get. They also have the best road record, so they're winning on all floors. And they have the third best defense. They're, I think, top 2 or 3 also in offense. We know the Minnesota Lynx have Cheryl Reeve, who is the all-time winningest coach in WNBA history. They have Napheesa Collier back, who, like, looking at her numbers, it doesn't make sense for someone who sat out to be that good so quickly. But this is her team because she brings the ball up. She understands the system because she's one of those positionless players. K-Mac had a 43-piece, I think, the other day. Courtney Williams is an all-star. Natasha Howard is an all-star. And Olivia Miles. I get so many texts from people that are just turning on a WNBA game and they're like, yo, this rookie from Minnesota. Yo. Like she has been consistently been playing like the best player on the best team in the WNBA. And so they're like, what does this put her in the conversation for? Maybe we'll have to save our actual awards pick for another episode. Okay. But rookie of the year, she got in the bag. So the Minnesota Lynx will win a WNBA championship if they keep doing what they're doing. Now, my coworkers actually made a good point, and they said the Minnesota Lynx at times peak early, which I thought was fascinating because they do tend to have really strong regular seasons. The playoffs happen. They run into a little bit of bad luck. 2 years ago in New York, went to 5 games. It, came down to the final possessions, and they just weren't able to do it. And then last year, injury bug caught them. It was a little bit of controversy with the Phoenix Mercury, so they weren't able to do it. These are 2 seasons where people thought that they would win, and then they fell short. And, I guess, how they say in basketball, you want to peak at the right time. They've been peaking all year long, so maybe there's no cliff to their peak, but I thought that was interesting, Brandon.
Well, what's the reality of one player changing this idea of what the ghost of Christmas past, lack of better terms? Like, I feel like Olivia Miles is this generational changer that could make the Lynx have another dynasty run.
And you say generational because she's a rookie, meaning if she could play at this level for the next 8 years, and you have this system that everyone knows, understands, and has brought out the best record in the WNBA, you're starting to think, because Napheesa is 29 years old. The older, and I hate saying older because these are my age mates.
Yes.
K-Mac, when she dropped 43, she said, yo, I'm almost 40. I was like, chill, K-Mac. We're both class of 2014. Chill. We're 33, 34. Okay, chill.
Yes, yes.
But she was just saying that she felt old next to this young. This is a core that knows what they're doing. And, the expectation is for them to win. So we know what it will take. It will take them being consistent the way that they played all year for them to win a championship. All right. Are you ready to head to Valhalla?
Got to.
Also, if we had to pick one game to go to, my Valhalla has to be it for me, because the way people talk about going to Golden State and experiencing that environment, second to none. The Golden State Valkyries will win a WNBA championship if they can find strategic, explosive scoring. Because we know that this team can play defense. You know what I joke? That Valhalla is like kryptonite. They steal, the Golden State Valkyries, they steal all your powers from you. Sidebar. I'm doing the Marvel challenge right now.
The Marvel challenge.
So apparently Avengers Doomsday comes out this December. Yes. And so NECA and I'm saying this for kryptonite and stealing powers and superheroes and all that stuff. NECA and I have decided, this is like how my brain works. NECA and I have decided to do the Marvel challenge and watch all the Marvel films and TV shows to be prepared for Avengers Doomsday. I am in. Ooh. I have already watched Captain America, the first Avenger, really good. And I've watched season 1 and 2 of Agent Carter. Peggy Carter, love all of that.
Howard Stark. Series 2?
Yeah, yeah, we're doing series, which is crazy, but
that's crazy.
I'm already in there. I'll talk about any. Okay, sorry. We're talking about Golden State Valkyries and how they still have superpowers. Yes. That's why I got confused, okay? But their defense, we all know how great it is. They're first in fewest points allowed in the W. They're first in defensive rating. Now, they're the embodiment of a 3-and-D team because they're also first in threes made with 11 per game. I remember when we were hosting the expansion draft and we asked Natalie Nacoste, I was there reporting from San Francisco, and she's like, I want players that will shoot threes and defend. And I was like, okay, all right. Like, expansion teams, it's an uphill battle. She has a vision and it has never changed. But their offense, to me, has to show up. Because when I'm thinking about these teams with potent offenses like the Indiana Fever, you have to be able to shot make like Caitlin Clark, like Kelsey Mitchell. You have to be able to finish and produce in the paint like Aaliyah Boston. You have to be able to slow down, which we've seen them do in the regular season occasionally, right? Asia Wilson. You're going to have to do something with Olivia Miles and disrupt her vision. These are elite offensive players, and in the playoffs, it's just a different speed and it's a different strategy and it's a different energy. And in their offense, they'll have to at times go toe to toe. So they will have to definitely have moments where their offense is strong enough to go against these tested, experienced professional scorers. That's the Golden State Valkyries.
I have to clean up a little thing. Kryptonite is in the DC universe with Spider-Man and Batman.
I know.
And then obviously in the Marvel universe, we don't have anything quite like it just yet. But
so in Agent Carter, there's zero matter. So it's like, so how about this? Okay. It's zero matter.
There you go.
Once you get close to zero matter, it sucks everything, all your powers. It just, so I'm rolling. The Golden State Valkyries, they have zero matter. Okay. You see how ready I was for that one? Okay. Let's head to Sin City, the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces will win a championship if they keep showing up in big games. Now, we all know Asia is still leading the league with 26 points per game in scoring. But there's this one stat that blew my mind. The big three, they show up in big games, but we got to give some love to Jackie Young because Jackie Young is averaging 18 points and 7 assists this year. She's leading the team in assists, a team that has Chelsea Gray, the point guard. Jackie has been a huge bucket, and her continual growth is what keeps Las Vegas Aces in that dynasty. Can it be dynasty? Can they go back to back? Can they win another championship? Can they add that? Going for their 4th championship in 5 years, which is wild. That's what their aspiration is. Now, the question is depth. I really loved their addition last year of Nalissa Smith. She was very instrumental in helping alleviate some of the ways that they used to guard some of their other posts, which was they wouldn't from the perimeter. And so Nalissa is in that, conversation for improvement, most improved, because she's done really well this year. But depth is the question for them. Can they rely on their bench? Can their bench come in and add some rotational minutes? Because this big three has to be on the floor at all times for them to really be strong. And Jackie and Asia, I mean, they combine for like 50 points a game. So the Aces, they have to show up in big games. We've seen that. We've seen them hit. I mean, Chelsea Gray was the first person in WNBA history to have a regulation buzzer beater and that overtime buzzer beater, which is wild.
Nuts.
In big moments, they're built for them. But how, like, sometimes you wonder, how long can it last? How far can you stretch that? They have some generational players, future Hall of Famers. We will see. All right. The Indiana Fever will win a WNBA championship if they keep trusting in each other. And I'm watching the Indiana Fever. Everyone knows that this is a historic offense. This is the best offense we've ever seen in WNBA history. They are first in points per game. They just set the record. If you're listening to the intro, they just set the record for the most games with 95 or more points, breaking the 2023 Aces record. The Indiana Fever are professional scorers. And you can see with every game how they have been building their trust, and their chemistry is just on point. Watching the Atlanta Dream game, I was like, I love what I see. And I highlighted, like I said before and said on air, good to great. Like, Caitlin has the rock. Caitlin can score. She had 29 points, like 26 or 29 points in this game. And she even passed up open shots to get her teammates great looks. I'm like, amazing. Also, she had one pass that she was trying to thread the needle, I think, to Monique Billings, and it probably kicked off her shin. And you could see in the slow-mo, she was like, hey, don't worry about that. That's on me. That's on me. Like, that is the leadership. That's the stuff that teams that love each other have. That type of communication, that type of accountability, and then also that type of potential. And so if they keep trusting each other, I know that a lot of people are like, oh, defense, you have to have a top defense to win a WNBA championship. I still feel like if you can shoot that ball, people like, this is going to be a great test case to see if that lethal offense can actually carry you even when defense may not be in that top 2 range. And it's actually kind of cool because this is coming off the heels of celebrating Diana Taurasi, who was the spearhead, yes, like the head of an offensive scoring point guard. I was saying that for those who, might be newer to the WNBA, we all know she's the WNBA all-time leading scorer. White Mamba. She was that person that when you cross half court, you're like, oh my gosh, what is DT going to do? Like, that's the blueprint that we see with Caitlin. That's the blueprint we see with Sabrina, those deep threes, like Diana, like Kelsey Mitchell. And so that Phoenix Mercury squad, one of them that won the championship, was a very heavy offensive squad. So it is possible. And I'm excited to see if they can do it, because my teammates in studio are like, oh, you gotta have defense. You gotta get stuff. So it's like, no one has slowed down this offense. Let's see how far they go. So if they trust each other, stay together, I know that, navigating a lot as a team, a lot of pressure, a lot of eyeballs, they have done so well, and so if they can if that locker room stays tight and they can still keep performing, I said in the beginning of the year, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Not to deviate too much from the Fever, but how was guarding DT?
Oh, man. Okay. So Diana Taurasi, I have this story. Shout out to you, Diana, for getting your jersey, lifted to the rafters, the banner, beautiful. And everyone's like, what was it like guarding her? I have this one moment. So when I came into the WNBA, I was very fortunate to have the ultimate cheat sheet, meaning my big sis. So before all games, except hers, I'd call her, like, Nneka, I'm going up against, Tamika Catchings, help me. Nneka, I'm going up against Sylvia Fowles, help me. Nneka, I'm going up against Diana Taurasi. I'll never forget this one. So Nneka was like, hey, Diana, when you go inside a screen, she's going to probably punch you. And I said, what? She said, yeah, she'll punch you. Just be ready for it. So I'm playing the Phoenix Mercury for the first time. I'm running down, about to be in transition, set a drag screen, and I'm sweating bullets. I'm nervous. I'm like, oh gosh, it's Diana. I got to set a screen. So I was, you know what? She's going to punch me, so I'm just going to hit her harder than she hit me. So I go and I set the screen, and she tries to punch me, and I just hit her back. And she like stumbles and like eyes, laser darts. Yeah. Ooh. Steam coming out of her ear. We go, and one of my teammates for the Connecticut Sun at the time draws a foul. Yay, right? Play worked. And so I'm like, okay, survived. I walk over to the free throw line and I turn and look. Diana, who is on the wing, is staring at me and then just takes a beeline across the court. Mind you, Diana's a point guard. So point guards aren't supposed to be in rebounding position. She's supposed to be at half court during free throws. She said, hey, you post, go back there. I'm going to stand next to her. Wow. I was like, oh no, she's coming for me because I hit her. And she came, she turned, she stood, she looked down, smiled, and pat me on the back. Okay, I see you, Rook. Welcome to the WNBA. I see you. You like you. And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah. Didn't run. Yeah, man. And then after the game, when we're going through the high five line, she was like, all right, y'all competed. I see you. You didn't come in soft. And Diana always, after games, like you see her on the court, she's fierce. She's tough. She's cussing people out. She's crossing you over. She's doing the most. But off the court, she is smiling. And even on the court, she's kind of like the Joker. You going, I'm going to laugh at your pain. That was like the hardest thing when you go up against Diana Taurasi. And so playing against a scoring point guard, playing against one of those fearless-minded point guards, I'll never forget that moment where she turned on that free throw line and was like, I see you, girl. I see you. That was DT. The Atlanta Dream will win a WNBA championship. Mind you, they've never won one. They're one of a few teams that have never won a WNBA championship. I know it's more because we're adding more teams to the fold, but the Atlanta Dream will win a WNBA championship if they're healthy. They have to be healthy. They need the numbers on the floor. They are first in the WNBA in fast break points, which is great. They have a solid defense. They attack the paint, but they need Bree Jones out there. They need Jordan Canada out there. They need a complete team because last year the Indiana Fever pulled up into the crib, without Caitlin Clark, and in 3 games, I believe, beat them. They need to be at full strength. They need home court advantage, but they are looking there. These are all measuring stick games to where we are, and they need to be healthy to have a chance. Bree Jones, I played with her. She is automatic 12, 14, in the paint. Jordan Canada is probably one of the most underrated players in the WNBA. She plays the game the right way. She's a tough point guard. She understands the system. And most importantly, she just is competitive and she's great. She's a great floor manager. And so to not have her and to not have Bree Jones, you need those players to be able to have a chance. And so they will win a championship if they're healthy and they play on both ends of the floor. The New York Liberty will win a WNBA championship if they understand their identity. And I think it's still a work in progress. They have had 13 at least different starting lineups. And it's very similar to the Atlanta Dream. They need to be healthy to have a chance. And it's been really tough because it was the news just came out about Satou Sabally, no timetable to return. And you waive Benijah Laney Hamilton. And so you have 2 of those positional players, plus Leonie Fibich, who has missed a majority of the season. You're missing the 6'3", the 6'4", the 6-foot athletic combo, can defend, use their length, but also can score player that was supposed to be your separator. Leonie Fibich was their separator when they won a championship. I'll never forget in transition that 3 she knocked with 2 minutes left. I'm like, dang, that girl's tough. Benijah Laney Hamilton, same way, the competitive fire, that she brought, why they won a championship. Those integral pieces. Satou Sabally, you got 18 points from Phoenix showing up. And it just is tough that she is in this position. Concussions are really scary. And so the Liberty, they need to know their identity. They have a new coach. And, when I talk to JJ, when I talk to Stewie on our shows, they say, hey, we're digging down on defense, but I still look at a team that is still trying to find their way offensively. They don't play fast. And I don't think that helps them get enough easy buckets. And then when they do get buckets, it's largely the positionless ability of their players that get them their buckets. You see the bigs, you see JJ, you see Stewie, you see Honshu knocking down threes. You're like, whoa, Sabrina's now back in the fold, which is nice. But then you're like, why aren't you getting the easy buckets with your 6'4", 6'6", and 6'11" in the paint? That identity, that navigating that, it's New York Liberty is a conundrum. They have the players with the experience, but I don't know if they have put the puzzle pieces anywhere near close enough for them to really make this push.
Is it possible at all to find your identity in the playoffs?
It is possible, but it's hard. It's hard. Like, this is going to be the most competitive playoffs, I think, in a very long time, which is why every game that we're seeing is so competitive. Everyone wants that home court advantage. Everyone wants to have one up on the next team because they know that, oh, if we're playing well, we can be in the mix. You know, we can have a shot to win it all. There are these teams that I've listed, but primarily the Minnesota Lynx, the Golden State Valkyries, which is crazy that a team in year 2 is in contender status, the Las Vegas Aces, the Indiana Fever. What I'm seeing, the good that I'm seeing from them now, if they build upon it and they play well at the right time, we're gonna have something interesting to say when it comes to the WNBA finals.
Well, the Chicago Sky as a 6th seed in 2021 won it.
Wait. Oh, the Chicago Sky. But that Chicago Sky team had Candace Parker.
Oh, yes.
And Kalia Copper, I believe that was the finals MVP. And that was the perfect storm. But Candace, a future Hall of Famer, like, if you just have that type of, you have a star, you have a system, you have belief, you have competitive fight, of the teams I mentioned, you never know. You never know. But some I feel better about than others.
Whether the beginning at 13 or now at 40, it was never about anything else. We were meant to be a love story that began 27 years ago. Thank you.
Hot headlines from the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the class of 2026. Of course, sis, Candace Parker, 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time WNBA MVP. She was one of those people that I'm like, I can't believe I played with Candace Parker. I know the time was short, but I was able to just experience her IQ on the floor. She was a coach. She was like, okay, this play go here. Chiney, when I get the ball, I'm going to go like this, but you're really going to cut this way. And speaking of which, playing against her, that was the hardest part. You didn't want to be a highlight. Like, Candace had all those, pick up moves where she's show and go the ball. Like, she'd the type to do this and then like go like this with the ball and not move. And the people go, you would get on a highlight because of Candace Parker's creativity. Candace, congratulations. Shamika Holdsclaw, 6-time All-Star in the WNBA scoring champion and 2-time rebounding champion legend. Amari Stoudemire, Doc Rivers, Mike D'Antoni, who in Houston, I'm like, okay, Coach Mike, we see you. Mark Few, legendary longtime Gonzaga men's basketball coach. Joey Crawford, the referee. Blow the whistle. Joey Crawford, I think it's so cool because not only do we get to enjoy the players and the coaches and the teams, but some refs become iconic. And Joey Crawford, 100% was one of those. He was a showman. He was a showman when he was refereeing. Congratulations to Joey Crawford. And have to shout out the 1996 U.S. women's national team, which in my eyes is the GOATed team because that was the team that birthed what we're experiencing today. The 30 seasons of the WNBA, it would not have happened without that 96 Olympic team because their success set the stage for the idea of maybe we can have a professional women's basketball league. And I love this because my favorite human and head coach at Stanford University, and when she finished as head coach and retired, she was at the time the all-time winningest coach in college basketball. Then Gino went and got it like a couple years ago. But Tara Vanderveer, to see her on stage with Lisa Leslie, who, that's my family right there. Just Hall of Famers there showing up. Dawn Staley, that team was history. And to see people that I have experienced, it's crazy because like you look at Tara and you look at Lisa and people know them as players. I care about them as people. They're people that have held me up. They're people that have taught me how to be a woman in this industry, and just love them, as you can tell. So the U.S. Women's National Team, 1996 team, GOATed in my eyes. Happy to see them enshrined in the Hall of Fame. Thanks for stopping by and hanging with us here on Chiney Today. Make sure you subscribe, rate, like, review, and please leave some love in the comments. You guys have been here with me. I've been working at ESPN since like 15, 16. It's been a time. And anytime I can get love, I appreciate you. So I'm going to try to throw this heart sign in the comments if you send me love. Hold me accountable. I'm going to be in the comments because I want to show y'all love for those who have given me love. So again, thanks for hanging with us. We are Chiney Today. I guess I'm speaking on behalf of Brandon, the heartbeat of hoops, and we will see you next time.